meet them. Rob referred to the fact that the politics, I don't even think it's changing that much. What's changing is that we're being more confident about talking about the support that Heathrow now has. And over the last couple of years, we've been commissioning polling to look at people's views. And as Rob said, you know, last year we found that, you know, 3/4 of people felt that Heathrow's benefits outweighed its disbenefits to them and their local community, and that more people supported expansion than opposed expansion. From the recent round of polling that we did, this to me was one of the most interesting conclusions that, you know, that came out, which was people were asked the question of, you know, if your local MP supported Heathrow, would you be more likely to vote for them? And if they opposed them, would you be more likely to vote for them? And we basically, more Populous, who are a very reputable polling company, they polled 1,000 people in each of these 7 constituencies around the airport. And 1,000 people is much more than a usually poll. We wanted to make sure this data was absolutely solid and reliable. And what it found was that Zach Goldsmith is right. In Richmond, he's right to oppose Heathrow because more people would vote for him because he opposes Heathrow than would vote for him if he switched and supported it. But for the other 6 MPs, for Mary McLeod, for Angie Bray, for Seema Malhotra, for John McDonnell, for Kwasi Kwarteng, for Adam Afriyie, more people would vote for them if they supported Heathrow expansion than would vote for them if they opposed it. Now, of those, Mary McLeod, against. Angie Bray, against. Seema Malhotra, on the fence. John McDonnell, against. Kwasi Kwarteng, in favour. Adam Afriyie, strongly against. Those 5 MPs who have come out against Heathrow, believe that they are reflecting the views of their constituents. Because all they hear from are their constituents who are against Heathrow. And I meet all 7 of those MPs regularly, and they all say to me, I don't get anything in my in-tray from anyone who supports the airport. Kwasi does, in Spelthorne, and brilliantly, 2 weeks ago, and I'm very proud that one of the councillors who did so is here in the audience today. I appeared before Spelthorne Council 2 weeks ago, and the council voted to support the 3rd runway at Heathrow. Very brave decision. Every time a council spoke against Heathrow, they were cheered by the public gallery. Every time Marion and her colleagues spoke in favour of Heathrow, they were booed by the gallery. But they believe in that Heathrow is the right thing for Spelthorne, and they voted in favour of the 3rd runway, supporting the 3rd runway at Heathrow. Shows you that, you know, there are politicians who can show leadership, there are politicians who know what's the right thing, but there are also, this shows us that there are more politicians who go on what they get in their in-tray. And in their in-tray at the moment, they get more of their constituents saying you need to oppose Heathrow than they do getting their support. And until that changes, then unfortunately, even with statistics like this, I don't think we're going to get the political support that we deserve, which is why we are so supportive of Back Heathrow and what Rob is, with your support, is trying to achieve. So, just in summary, 3 points really. For what I dealt with in the first part of my speech, that Heathrow offers unique benefits to the UK and to the region as the UK's only hub airport, the connectivity can bring, the jobs that generates. Secondly, that Heathrow can be expanded in a sustainable way. We can expand Heathrow, meet the climate change targets, meet the air quality targets, reduce noise. And thirdly, Heathrow is politically deliverable. But it's only politically deliverable if the people who support it, their voices are heard. Thank you very much for listening.
Basically, I've been asked to come and talk to you because basically I'm just an ordinary person who lives in the area and works at Heathrow. And I actually feel very strongly about the Back Heathrow.
I think it'd be better without the mic.
Without the mic, okay.
Have a wander.
Yeah.
I'll have a wander through.
Yeah.
I'll get closer.
Sing a song.
But basically, I'm like a lot of you who are sitting here today who have worked at Heathrow. I've been working at Heathrow for over 20 years, and on and off, and done, and I think it's a great place to work. I'm also sort of like a resident as well, and I'm right under the flight path, and I get the noise, which a lot of people complain about. But you know what? I can honestly say, in the last sort of like 10 years or so, I have noticed such a difference in the noise. You know, my house used to shake before, and I mean literally shake. But now, because of the way the technology has improved and the way Heathrow is doing so much about the respite that Nigel was talking about, my house doesn't shake anymore. And I've got 3 children, and they say, Mum, before the house used to shake when the planes used to come over. Now it doesn't. And yes, okay, in the garden, you know, you do have periods of time when you're out in the garden and they are coming over, but you know, you just get used to it. And I think if my children were here today, they would just say the same. We're so used to it, it doesn't make any difference to us. When I first sort of came into the Back Heathrow campaign, I was asked to sort of like, I came along to meet, they actually came to my house actually for their campaign and filmed me. That was the first time I actually got filmed. And I've been filmed 3 times since then. And they came to my house, and John, who's in the back there, he actually came and filmed, and so he knows what I'm talking about when I said, because they went in the garden, and they heard the planes coming over, and they said, yeah, the difference between in the house and outside, there is a difference, yes. But more than anything else, I think what I feel about is that, you know, Heathrow has done so much for the community in this area, and it's not just for like my generation, but I know people who work at Heathrow who are working there, and they've got their children working there, you know, and who have gone on and retired, but their children are still working there, and some of them have got their grandchildren working there. And it's that's the part that I feel about most, is the fact that it's the impact on families and the community. Because if we didn't have a Heathrow, all these families would be dispersed and they'd be all over the place. And I don't want my families to be moving all over the place. I want them to be close. And yes, okay, 2 of my older daughters, they work. They may not work at Heathrow, but where they work has an impact, because people live in this area and they go to, you know, and they come to, and a lot of them work at Heathrow. I live in a cul-de-sac with 18 houses. Out of those houses, 5 houses, there are people in those 5 houses who actually work at Heathrow. So you can imagine how the impact would have on people if there was no Heathrow. All I can say to you is, yes, I've been filmed at home. I've been on ITV London Tonight, and I also was on Newsnight, sort of like, you know, and it's my claim to fame, maybe. But at the end of the day, the most important thing to me is, you know, Heathrow is here, and let's back it and let's have a voice for Heathrow, because if we don't do it, you know, you don't know what's going to happen, and there might be some people here might be sceptical and might say, well, actually, you know, they might not. You know, how can they close Heathrow down? How can they close Heathrow down? Nobody's ever going to close down. You just never know. And that's all I'm going to say to you now, is just back it in any way you can. Tell your friends, your family members to sign up onto the website, and let's show the government and the Airport Commission and Boris that Heathrow does have a voice. Okay? Thank you very much.
Well, I just want to thank Sarita for telling her story and coming here today. I really appreciate that. And I'm just going to talk a little bit more about what she's mentioned, about the ways in which she's supported the campaign and being involved, and yes, I think that we're going to make her famous by the end of it. But as well, Nigel, everything's really been said and everyone's touched on it, but I just want to draw your attention, first off, to thank you for being here and to see a few familiar faces that have been involved in the campaign, but mainly to see so many new people and supporters, and for giving up your time this evening to listen to us. So thank you for coming, and I hope I get to meet more of you later on when we have a drink later. Everyone has got a sheet on their chair, hopefully, that is how you can help Back Heathrow Airport. And Rob has mentioned that we sort of are a bit of a baby campaign, but we're definitely growing and we've got more supporters, people like yourselves who are getting in contact with us, who are signing our pledge, and now we really are ready to sort of move to the next stage of the campaign, to take up more activity and get more people involved and hopefully get more help from local people, from residents, from businesses, from people who work at Heathrow. So this sheet here just shows that how any of us in this room, however small the action might be, we can make a difference and we can contribute to the success of this campaign. Without you all, we won't be able to get very far unless we can hear the stories of people like Sarita here. So it says how you can help Back Heathrow, and there's a list of things, some of them small, some of them bigger, some aimed at businesses, because I know we've got some fantastic business representatives here and we really appreciate you coming down. And the first point, I'm not going to go through them all, I won't bore you, but please take it home and have a read yourselves. The first point is just talk to a neighbour about Back Heathrow and our campaign to safeguard the future of the airport. And some people have already taken that step. I know that people have brought family members, have brought business associates, have brought colleagues. So please keep doing that and spread the word, because you can spread the word in a way we might not be able to. You might be able to contact people that we can't reach. And so that's so important in spreading the message. And as Nigel said, finding more people who do support Heathrow, they just haven't spoken out about it yet. So please do that. And if they feel the same way you do and do support the airport and want it to grow, want it to flourish and protect its future, you can get them to sign up, if you would, to our online pledge, which is on the website, and you can see the web link is on the sheet. Otherwise, what I've taken the liberty to do is print you out our petition page. So everyone's got a couple of copies of this. So if one thing you could do, and everyone should have a free post envelope, I think we might have run out, so if anyone hasn't, let me know and I'll get one to you. Or the free post address is just here, so you can just pop it on an envelope with no stamp. If you could get friends, family, colleagues, neighbours to sign the petition in support if they feel as you do and they want to put their names down, we'd be very grateful, and we can build up the supporter numbers and just send it back to us. That's just one thing that you could do to help. And there's a list of things here. It's slightly changed, so apologies for those who we've spoken to before who might have seen it, but such things as social media. If you're on Twitter, please follow us, please tweet your support, show your voice that way. Other things, Rob's mentioned we've got some local journalists here. One of the ideas is to write to your local newspaper, and I know some people here have already done that and told people why they support Heathrow. So I was going to say we can give you their contact details for your local paper or journalist, but maybe we'll just do an introduction here and now. The other thing is, Nigel's pointed out, it's so important that we tell politicians who say that they're representing the voices of their constituents and who are against openly, that actually there are people out there who support Heathrow, and there's quite a lot of them. So if you can write a letter, an email to your local councillor, your local politician, it seems such a small thing, but as Nigel says, the in-tray of those politicians, that's what they care about and that's what they listen to. So again, we can let you know who your local representatives are. If you can take 5 minutes to spare to do that, then please do. So have a read, come and talk to me, come and talk to Rob afterwards, if any of you can think of other ways that you want to get involved, or if you do want to do any of these things, or send us an email, give us a call. Hopefully we'll have more events like this. We might do some street stalls and some things in the future. If you can lend half an hour, half an afternoon to come and help us prepare, help us man the stalls, help us volunteer at these events, then that's what will make the difference, and that's what will help this campaign to move on and to grow, and for us to meet more people like you, and hopefully to get more and more help along the way. So thank you very much.